Welcome to Culturally Incorrect, the podcast where two friends dive into the ordinary, turning the mundane into a humorous adventure.
Join us for laughter, candid conversations, and a dose of friendship as we explore the everyday topics that make life truly basic.
We're your hosts, Ken
and Z.
We're here to turn your everyday into a fun-filled conversation.
So grab the drink of your choice, put on your headphones, and let's chat.
All right, welcome to another episode of Culturally Incorrect. Today we're going to go over the Who the Fuck Did I Marry episode. And so I think we're going to start out with just talking about the beginning and what we watched. And I think me and Z are going to be opposite parts on this one.
You think so? You really think so? I think we're going to be
opposite parts.
Why?
But because I feel like because she brought out a lot of the male rage in me.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of male rage that was going on in my mind while she was going. So I couldn't focus on the fact that he put her through what he put her through. Mm-hmm. I was more focused on the fact of why you and not so. So anyway, so we'll start out, in the beginning. So if you haven't seen it, in the beginning she talks about finding him on Facebook and Hinge.
Yeah.
And how they matched, but she didn't know they had matched on both of those little web apps or whatever.
And didn't realize they were two different names,
Yeah, two different names or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just say your boy making Philly look bad.
And your girl making Jersey look bad.
Yeah, she ain't making Jersey look no better.
Listen, not no better. Okay? Not no better. Yeah, man.
Make him look no better. And they doing all this mess down in Atlanta. How you got to go from up north to meet somebody down in Atlanta to cause this mess that y'all in together, and and I think that's the part that frustrates me. This is a together mess. This ain't a one person mess.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
Which I think she kind of held on to. She kind of took accountability for her hot mess part of her part of the hot mess. I think she did.
I don't think she took when it gets further on, and I don't know if we've got to this point. I don't know if you got to the part where she kicked him out. Did you get to that part?
Yeah.
You got the part where she kicked him out?
Yeah.
Okay. And her mom and the auntie was on the phone. He was laying in bed.
Yeah, I think so. I think I heard that.
You got to the part where his knee was jacked up?
No.
Okay, then you ain't get to that part yet. His knee gets messed up and he starts kind of staying in bed for a while. But anyway, we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about day one. Week one of this nonsense. So she meets him on this page, and then they're going to meet somewhere, right? She gets a blown tire. She is so long-winded. That girl can talk, and she says she's detail-oriented. She's not detail-oriented. She's just long-winded.
Yeah.
And then she repeats herself.
She does that a lot. She uses the wrong word for what she means, and I'm like, that's not what you actually mean.
No,
yeah.
You blabber, and then you go, oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. So y'all
don't know Ken like that, right? But I'm laughing so hard because he is so like, no, this ain't it.
Her storytelling skills just need work, man. You just need go to practice, write a book. Do
she
something.
Probably is writing a book.
I'm sure she is.
All them audio clips, I was like, oh, she definitely was planning to write a book.
Do something to get your focus and timeline together. But anyway, I digress myself. So now they go on that way. She blows a flat tire, and I'm like, okay, and she's got to let people know that I knew what to do. I knew to pull over, so I gave him a call, let him know I got a flat tire. So of course, I can only speak for myself.
Okay.
Any grown man is going to be like, okay, where you at? I'm going to come help you out. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to come fix your tire. And then he was nice enough to pay for the replacement tire because he put her on a donut, right? You got a donut, you really shouldn't go very far on a donut. Even though I have, And you're not supposed to go over 55 miles in a donut. So you can speak from a woman's perspective to where, for me, I'm like, he changed the tire. And he paid for you to get a new tire, which is like $150 plus maybe $35 for balancing. And they put a tire on. And he shouldn't have got you one. He should have got you two. Because you never replaced one tire, you replaced two. So he should have replaced both your fronts. If that's what he was doing.
Okay.
So, again, from a man's standpoint, from my standpoint, nigga what?
So you saying she was holding him? She was putting him on a pedestal for some he just supposed to do.
For something basic. It's just basic.
You know that Chris Rock John, he said, you want some credit for some you're just supposed to do. All right, so no. So you're absolutely right. We're going to be in opposition here because I don't think it's your responsibility. You've never dated this girl. You've never met this girl. So why would you feel obligated to change her tire, meet her at take her, like, go to the tire place and then pay for her tire? Like, I don't think that's his responsibility whatsoever. Helping her while you know she was coming to meet him for a date, absolutely. I do think you should have showed up. She was on the side of the road. Be a man and like be there with her, or wait for AAA whatever, or change the donut.
Man, D, you a grown man. If you can't show up, change a tire, take her to a tire place. Know that you're never supposed to change just one tire because then you're out of balance and get both. If you don't know that as a grown man, even nowadays, then I'm shamed for where our society is going.
Well, then be shamed.
I'm ashamed for where our society.
Well, then be shamed. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that some men don't know this. I'm saying that wouldn't be the baseline. Like, not majority of men would do that. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that they would. Come and help change the tire. Absolutely. I believe that they would try their hardest, to do their best. I don't think that they like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, maybe even accompany her to the tire shop, but not pay for it.
Oh man, you got to. She came to see you. She wouldn't have blown that tire if she didn't come see you.
How you know that?
She would have blown it somewhere else, but she was coming to see you. So
okay.
maybe that puncture or whatever, that nail was on the road to you. And your responsibility, that woman's on the road to you.
A month ago.
Take care of that woman.
When she was talking to Billy Bob Joe.
It don't make sense. I
don't
know.
So right. No, I don't. You think that? No, heck no.
I think that she put him on way too high pedestal. I think, again, and now we go into like one of her first comments that annoyed me, like just pissed me off to no end, was when she said, and he looked like his picture, and he was 6'4", and he was cute, and he was fine.
Yeah,
I think that
I was like, his height made him cute, because she didn't say like any physical attributes that she liked about him besides his height. She's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, tall don't make you cute.
Oh yeah, dude. For a lot of women, all you gotta do is be tall. You could be monkey butt ugly if you tall. you done. Like that's all you got to do.
Oh,
there is no
other
prerequisites for a lot of women. Oh, he tall. All right, he over 6 foot. Oh, I can deal with a lot of stuff because he over 6 foot, and I feel like I got me a big man.
Oh
like,
wow,
for real, that.
Yeah, I did notice that too.
Because I feel like that gave him so much grace with her, and she allowed herself to be like, and she allowed so much to be walked under the water, because if it was somebody her height or maybe a shorter man or something like that,
she would have
had no respect for him, and she would have shut 90% of that down when he told the first lie. He told the first lie, she'd have been, I'm out. But because he was tall, because he changed the tire for me and paid something, because he paid 1 month worth of my rent.
But she was saying like she was so, and that's the other word she used that I didn't agree with, ready to be married, that she was willing to just kind of forego a lot of things, or that she didn't want to be lonely. So she was willing to be like, all right. She was like, we're about to go on a shutdown. I don't want to live by myself. But then my girlfriend made a good point. She was like, yeah, but he was still going to work day after day. So why did he give up his place? Like, he could have just come over to your house every weekend. You know what I mean? Like, or every night, because he still had to leave the house to go to work. So why he give up his place and live with you? So
just because you quarantined didn't mean that y'all couldn't be together. That means y'all could just be with each other. So if he's at his place and he comes over to your house and you go over to his house, y'all just with each other. Like,
she brought that up, and I was like, I didn't even think about that.
So again, I go back to, if he was her height, she'd have been like, nah, we good. I don't want you to come stay with me. We can just keep talking.
Yeah.
But because she found him attractive, she gave him the walking papers to walk all over him. And she took all the lies, and she believed them at first. And then when she started to realize they were lies, she gave him more grace than she would have gave anyone else.
I can see that being true. Like, but that's the truth of of most people, where you have an affinity to someone and you feel like, hey, this person can get away with more.
You're talking about the beauty factor, like the more attractive they are, the more shit you put up with.
Yeah.
You're talking about that angle. Okay, I got you. Yeah, because the more attractive the person is, the more shit you're able to put up with, and the more shit you allow them to do.
You're more willing to look aside, like, oh well.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Upset me to no end, because I'm like, come on, girl. Like, you know what's going down. You know what's happening right now. Like, at that point, when she went over to his studio apartment, at the point, and then what upset me is she keeps talking about him being a vice president. Oh, he a vice president. Oh, he a vice president. Vice president of what? A condiment company? What condiment company has a vice president that's living in a shack studio apartment anywhere? I'm like, come on now. Now, to be fair, I'm going to give some foreshadowing and say that he wasn't number 2 in the company. He was vice president of production. So he was a under VP. He was not vice president next to the CEO, right? He was just the production vice president, like one step above a director or whatever. Mm-hmm. But even still, at that level, you're not living in a studio apartment. At no point.
If it is just the in between
time. They got you. They are renting you a house, and you are set up to be comfortable while you're in between your places.
That's the part that was so far-fetched for me when she started talking about company cars, and I was like, but you just realized that this man was in a studio, so why you believe that they're going to give him a company car and it's going to be a BMW at that? But anyway, sorry, let me not jump forward, but let's continue. Yeah. Let's continue.
No, yeah. So that was the thing. So now you met this dude. You ain't known him a hot second.
No.
And you talking about something, I won't be alone. So
that was scary to me. That was scary to me. Like I don't know like how some people kind of get to that point of like, oh well, I don't really know this person, but they can live with you. Like, that's scary to me. Like, you don't know this person. Like, anything could pop off at any minute. You don't know if they got like some type of mental stuff going on, and like,
yeah,
that scared me. Like, you that willing to be like, yeah, let's do this, huh?
Don't make, and you're putting yourself in a compromised position.
Yes,
you done been to this man's house. See, he got a lot of nothing, and then you're like, oh, and then you pause, but then you like, oh, don't worry about it, and then you let him into your house permanently. Like there was ever a choice of where you were going to quarantine. Are we going to quarantine with me, or are we going to quarantine at his place?
And I said, who would give up a 3-bedroom for a studio?
She wasn't ever going to quarantine with him. And she probably was like, well, I have a bigger house. We should just quarantine with me. So we get to that whole part where they're quarantined together, and
he starts paying the bills.
Yeah, he starts paying the bills. So he pays 1 month of your bill, and all of a sudden you're in love, and you just can't.
She said it was intoxicating to not have to
pay
for her own
bills. Come on now, I don't care. Like,
so some people have struggled so much that they like, I just don't want to struggle no more. And so when you feel like you don't have to struggle anymore, that's a euphoric feeling. I can imagine.
We gonna put a pin in that, because we gonna come back to that part right there. That part you just said, we gonna come back to that.
Okay.
We're gonna have a whole conversation on that.
Okay.
But so now he done paid 1 month's rent, and he taking care of the household bills, and your check is your check. So now you like, oh my God, I got all this extra money and I was hoping she was saving it or she was doing something responsible with it, but I doubt it. But anyway, that's just me. Again, I got a lot of opinions on this, and I think they're a little toxic, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it through this episode. I'm gonna guess
not, because when they started shopping for cars, she didn't have the money to buy her car, so I'm guessing
but they started shopping for cars so soon.
Fiscally responsible. But I mean, when they finally bought, a whole year later, it's like, yeah, you should have had that money.
Yeah, she should have. Girl.
Yeah.
Girl, like this man been paying the rent and all household utilities for by the time they started, she actually got her car. It was like the next January or February.
About a year.
Yeah. So at that point, and then we jumped the house. So let's go. Let's not get to the cars because she talked about the cars. Let's go to the house where we could talk about living within your means. So now she talks about this chase letter. So what's the first thing? I don't know about you. First thing to me when he came talking about this chase letter, I'm like, so what's the date on that chase letter? I'm like, you just meeting this man. He said he'd have moved here and he's got a chase letter. What's the date on the letter? Because those things are only good for 6 months. And that's if it's a pre-qualification or not even a pre-approval. Like whatever that category is. One of them is higher than the other. Doesn't matter. That means they checked your financials and you're good to go. So I don't think he had the pre-approval. He had the pre-qualification. He had the one that said, oh, yeah, from what you told us, you're qualified. Not the, hey, we have checked your bank accounts. We have checked all this stuff.
Yeah.
You are good. You are pre-qualified. He wasn't qualified. He was approved. Different story. Or I'm sorry, pre-approved. Like so that's a whole different story. So she ain't look at no dates. She don't, and she's like, well, I don't know how to buy a house, and I don't know the process. So we talking about this, and now we will pull that pin and talk about the fact that she was so enthralled with not having to worry about bills, and she's paying the house bill or whatever. Why are you out here looking for a $750,000 house? Why are you out here looking for a house that you can't afford by yourself? So what happens if y'all do buy that house?
Well, she said that she wasn't going on the mortgage, so she didn't care about the price because he said he was the only one going on the mortgage.
But look at it from my perspective, where you only known this man a month. You trying to buy a house and get married. You're gonna move in with this man in what 30, 40 days?
Yeah.
So now you bought a house. You ain't married yet. Y'all bumping uglies, but y'all ain't done nothing other than, say, hey, we're going to do all these things together.
Right.
Now you living with a man in a house you can't afford by yourself, talking about getting married. Right. So at the point in time when y'all do get divorced, you ain't got no choice but to sell it because you can't afford to buy him out. He ain't going to be willing to leave because his name is the only name on the mortgage. Yeah. So why are you doing all this? Like that to me is putting yourself in a predicament that you can't get yourself
And I
out.
didn't like the fact, like you said, that she was like, I didn't know the process. I was like, what year was it? Was Google not a thing? What do you mean? There's no process that you need to know unless it's like intricate. That you can't just go to Google it. Quick little.
Or call a realtor.
Or
you call a realtor, they'll explain the whole thing to you.
Just call them up and say, I have a few questions. The internet is so vast, honey. You can go to YouTube and figure it out. Like,
and the world, if y'all see this, know that I am not victim bashing. But this girl said she's from Jersey. This girl said that she, and then the audacity of how she treated this person who treated her badly. I'm not gonna let him off the hook for how badly he treated her. But then the way she treated him at the end with just as much negative and nastiness, bruh, you can't be you were holding that back in. I understand he hurt you. He hurt you, but you let it all out at the end, and just Z hadn't watched, so we're gonna do a part 1, and then we're gonna come back and hit up part 2. But the nastiness that you treat him toward the end, it made it hard for me to root for her because she in my mind, and this is sadly a male perspective of, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get over this. She gave him a red carpet to lie to her about everything because he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put on a contract. Scott called. Scott's like, I ain't in a contract with me.
Right.
And she's like, oh well, then I don't know. He's handling it. Maybe you should talk to him. No, this is where you're planning on living for the rest of whatever long time. This is what the man you're supposed to be living with. Like there are questions that need to be asked. Yeah. Now I understand if he put you at ease and every day y'all would sit down and talk about, hey man, this is where we are at the house. This is where, like, if he walks you through and explained it to you and said, hey, these are the processes and this is the next step and here where we are, If he did that, then yes, because you should be at ease. But if you don't know the process and he ain't telling you nothing, man.
And then she said he would get defensive when she would question and say, "Well, what about this?" And I was like, as soon as he would have got defensive with me after I felt like something was wrong, forget about it.
But then he got defensive, and she was just like, "Okay, well, I'll let you handle it."
I'm sorry. Yeah, she said she would feel like she was jaded and wasn't respecting the fact that he was a good man.
But
and I was like, no,
because you asked me to explain something.
That feeling that you have is for your own good. It's for your survival. And the fact that you just was like, I'm gonna ignore it at every turn, baby girl. Survival is just not your thing.
I can't do it
because you're not supposed to ignore that thing at every turn. Like trying to work through past trauma or move past some things, got it. But ignoring every signal, like you said, is like, that's a red flag for you, it's only to protect you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that whole thing, and then I mean, the way the market moves at that point, because I think at that point in time, people were spending more time in the house, and people were starting more. And so people started to realize, hey, we ain't going back to work anytime soon. I can find and I can remote work from anywhere. I'm going to go back somewhere I have family. So people started up and moving, right? Yeah. So the housing market started to have a big churn of people buying and people selling houses at that point.
I remember that.
For her not to understand, hey, if we are not the only ones putting a bid in this house, and that if we don't have a bid in, eventually it's going to go under contract. And for her not to want to see the contract, and then for him to use a lie and say, "Oh, I did it with my friend," which his friend's name wound up being Scott too. It wound up being Scott too. The original realtor was Scott, and his friend was Scott. Yeah. But I put it in with him. Okay, well, let me see that contract. What did we offer? What are we trying to do here? Is it the same? What? And the thing about buying a house, and I think this is just experience for me, is that when you buy the house, even if they do a virtual walkthrough, there are certain things on that contract for the seller that they put that they say we're taking or we're leaving. So if the original contract you thought went in didn't go in, what was on the second contract? What was on the second one? Did they leave the appliances? Did we request the appliances to be left? Did we request anything as far as being fixed? Did we tell them we wanted everything fixed? What's on it?
It seems she learned her lesson on the next go round.
I don't care about the next go round. I'm talking about the first red flag where you should have been, peace, I'm out.
She said, listen,
this is nonsense.
This man showed me that he was approved for this much mortgage. I couldn't get approved for that much mortgage, so let me go ahead and rock with him until we can get up in this house.
Money ain't everything, people. Come on.
It's not. I agree with you 1,000%.
And then if this is something for anyone who is anyone, right? If the person that you are pursuing leads with the money that they have, they probably ain't the one for you, because if that's all they got to show you up front, no personality, no, this is the person that I am, money ain't
most
gonna
people
help you.
And not only that, it's probably not long money, and when I say long money, I mean substantial to the point where if usually someone who has, they don't want to show it off because they want you to know them for them. They ain't like, oh, come on, like, I don't know, but that's just which opens up the arena football and the offshore accounts and all that mess that he was talking about. Everyone has an offshore account. I laughed so hard at that, but I was curious. I was like, when she started talking about him finally showing her the bank statements and stuff, and she said, the account. She said, I saw it. I was thinking, I was like, did he pull up a document and show her a document? Because that's the only thing that I could think. Because I'm like, if I had to ask you to verify, I'm annoyed, but then I'm going to deep dive my own self. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna be no stone. No stone left unturned. Like, I'm going through everything. You ain't talking about, I'm going to show you this, but I ain't going to show you that.
So here's my problem with that whole scenario, right? Where she wanted to see the money because she knows there's money there. I seen the money. I was like, you's a liar. You know why I say you a liar? Because I am from Jersey. And what I know is that I don't want you to show me a picture on your phone. I want you to log in.
That's what I'm saying.
I want you to know.
Did you go into
No,
the account and let me move around and be like, bro, you got 3 accounts and this one got.
He said, I'm gonna show it to you now. Flip back. That's what he did. So you know what that was, Z?
A document from Google.
It was a picture, not even a document. It was a picture from Google. You know what else was a picture from Google? That approval letter. And when I tell you, when she said she saw the money, the first thing I said was, "Well, what did you see? Did you see the money or did you see a picture?" I was like, because I don't trust that approval letter. I don't trust and now mind you, I come with the knowledge of who the fuck did I marry. So obviously there's some stupid shit going on. So I'm already my senses
tuned into like this is gonna be some BS.
What is he gonna do? Right.
Yeah.
So everything he did from jump. Was my spidey senses.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, we're coming into this with that point of view in mind, right? Like, you talking about somebody living in a day, but I also but she was grown by this point. Like you said about being a grown man in the beginning. She was grown at this point, living on her own, had moved to Georgia on her own. She said she was on her own for what, 14 something years or something like that. And you don't know how to. First of all, let me just speak on my own behalf. I am a woman, I do believe that we have some investigative skills, and I think that we usually put them to the you know what I'm saying? So, baby girl, what do you mean you didn't have any questions? You didn't care to further examine? You know what I mean? Like when your like you said, when your spidey senses go up, everything is amplified. So I'm not only checking this and this, but I'm going to think about it, because she started talking about, I started keeping audio diaries because I was like, stuff that didn't make sense to me, and I'm thinking, why are you keeping audio diaries instead of presenting this to this man and being like, I don't understand, and I can't, you know what I mean? I just can't get with this.
I'll tell you why. I told you why at the beginning.
I get
6'5" bar of chocolate walked up to her. She said, I got this. I got some man.
I gotta keep this one.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, so then why not just keep it all the way 1,000 and be like, whatever BS we finna go through, we just finna go through it. Why even question them? Why not just go with, if that's your whole intention, and you finna keep this man regardless of whatever, then go ahead. But
she did that when she found out that the house was sold, and it was sold to an older white couple, and she knew that lie happened, and she went home and said, I'm going to just allow him to lie his way out of this. She did that. She accepted it because she found out that when they did the mortgage thing, whatever, and then he said he had the thing in, and then they couldn't close.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the house was no longer on the market. She calls up the realtor. It's like, hey, what's going on with this house? The realtor for the sellers, not the realtor that they were using, but the realtor. And she's like, oh yeah, we sold that one. It's sold. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh well, who bought it? And it was an older white couple.
Yeah.
And then she knew. Now he's still telling her stay working on it.
But then at this point she was still pregnant. She was saying she was high risk, and she didn't want to have any more additional stress because she knew that it was going to be some BS. So she was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna breathe. Just basically breathe through it is how I took it. Like, you know what? Whatever. Me back
to you nasty. You don't know this man for a month and a half, and you letting him beat it up without a condom.
Stop making me laugh that hard because I'm trying to stay on camera. Stop.
You letting him beat it up raw. You ain't known him for 2 months. You in the middle of COVID. You don't know what's out there. And you just letting him go to work and come home and just do whatever he wanted to.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but that's
so that's what I'm saying. She was saying she was trying to be a little bit less stressed.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah. So now we at the house, and we have obviously let it go, and she gonna accept the nonsense and go, how are you gonna lie your way out of this? Let me see. I'm gonna lie you a lie, and I'm gonna even feed you a lie to let you be like, if it's not good, we should just let it go.
I'm gonna go ahead and bird feed you.
Yeah, no. At that point, she accepted anything. She and a person like that, she keeps calling him a pathological liar. He's not a pathological. He's a habitual liar. Mm-hmm. He's not pathological. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that about him that is what's his name that is thought out,
strategic.
That is, strategic. There's nothing. No. He's not pathological.
That's why I said some of the words she used. She didn't use them correctly.
Yeah, he's a habitual liar. Habitual. What she was looking for.
There was no well thought out plan to the end of his lie. There was no pathology whatsoever. He didn't have nothing. It was like
upset me to no end.
No, he's just a habitual liar, and usually, good liars don't get caught. Step by step. If he was pathological, you wouldn't know until it was over.
Yeah, you'd be like, man, wow, that man good. He got me.
That boy good.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a break here, and then we'll come back with the second part of this. And this may be like 4 parts, but we're gonna work our way through this.
We're gonna have a Tessa.
Yeah. Tell you, boy, I'm so mad at her. Don't ever tell nobody you're from Jersey. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Culturally Incorrect. Please join us next time.